Hello, everyone. First of all, PJ has decided to stream this on her side as well. So please go over at some point during the live, give her a like, and just stay over there for a couple of minutes so the algorithm catches it. And then you can talk in both chats because both chats are coming up on my screen. So that's the technical stuff out the way. Today's case is Jax Grattan. Now, Jax Grattan was missing for around about 2 months, and then she was found deceased. And ever since then, Mom has been through a whirlwind of all sorts of fights in order to get answers and justice for Grattan. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mom up. Uh, Mom, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Sherilyn Grattan Camus, proud mother of Jax Grattan.
Yeah. So,
So sorry.
no, you're okay. So, just so there's no complications in the chat or anything like that, we are here for Jax today. Regardless of what your beliefs are outside my chat, I don't care. But while we are here fighting for Jax. So, Jax was a woman who was born a man. So she transitioned to a woman. And believe you me, I've saw how many operations she went through. It's no joke. The pain and the fight she went through to be who she was, just in herself, was its own battle. And now that she's gone, her mum's still having to fight not only for justice but the right to call her daughter. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, that's very fair. I received Jack's death certificate, where, of course, they dead named her. And of course, because of Lakewood police misreporting where she was found on her death record, it will forever be in an alley. And that's not where they found her. It was outside, but that I hate that. I hate that her death certificate is a lie and doesn't represent her death.
So, um, while I'm just doing a few things behind the scenes, why don't you tell the people about Jax as a person away from the case? Because we've got all live to talk about the case. I want to hear about Jax as a person, maybe one of your fondest memories, anything like that. Just tell us about Jax.
My daughter was always full of drama. And many times through this case, I have felt that she has guided me. Just when you think things are easygoing, something pops up. Very vivacious, very kind. From a very early age, she was an advocate. Um, she believed in women's rights. She believed Black Lives Matter. She took on causes that for a young child weren't even known. She actually helped in naming my daughter Marilyn Monroe Mastro, her little sister, because she added Monroe because of course Marilyn Monroe, but she felt there was going to
Yeah,
be a time when they didn't ask for sex on a job application. So Jax felt that she was giving Monroe a hands up um, for her future. And I think Jax was maybe 15 at the time when Monroe was born. I might have the dates off. Um, I have so many incredible memories. She always left a statement. She walked in a room and commanded that room, was easy on the conversation, could speak to anyone. Um, she never knew her worth. Um, she always charged less than she needed to in haircuts and hair color. And she was very, very, very creative. She really, at one point when she was a teenager, my whole family comes from music. And the American Idol was in Denver, Colorado, and Jax felt that she was going to audition. Jax could never sing. All my other children sing, play instruments. All of her cousins sing and play instruments. So I had to kindly and politely say, "You're absolutely not auditioning for American Idol, because you would be the the guy that did the dance." But she is truly, truly missed. Uh, and raising her was easy. She was different. She has older brothers, a younger brother, and Miss Monroe. That's probably the closest with Jax. And many, many friends. I had no idea how many friends Jax had. The crazy thing with this case, through the 7 weeks of her missing, there was so many people that volunteered that never met Jax. And of course, all of her hair community, the AA community, the LGBTQ community, everybody was helping out. But there was actually people that I thought up until just recently were very, very good friends with Jax. And then I found out they'd never even shared space with Jax. But wanted to
So
be a
someone
part
in
of
the
Jax.
chat's just asking, how old was Jax?
Jax was 34, would have turned 35 August 16th.
There you go. Carry on. Sorry, I've seen it pop up a few times. So
Yes, and Jax was a middle child. What
oh, I know
else?
that feeling. Oh.
Yeah. So she was absolutely a light, and she was different than my boys. Her brothers were her protector because she always seemed to start problems, and my other boys would constantly get in trouble for sticking up for Jax, even though Jax is my tallest, lankiest child and strongest probably. But she was incredible, and there was always something going on in Jack's life as an adult and even as a child. She did many, many things. She sang in choirs. She volunteered for all different, anything and
She was a
everything.
performer as well, wasn't she?
Well,
I've
she
seen.
did. She would have loved to be RuPaul. She would
Yeah,
have loved to been a drag queen. Um, but that was not what she was really good at. In her younger years, she took ballet in Las Vegas. But she didn't like it because she didn't get to wear the tutus. Her ballet shoes were different, and they worked on Jack's lifting girl. Jax wanted to be the person that was being lifted. Jax wanted to play Sleeping Beauty, and didn't want to be a soldier in the Nutcracker. So,
I get what you're
so
saying. She always wanted the
yeah,
star
she didn't
role.
want to be the Nutcracker. She wanted the feminine parts. And she was always like that. Jax was born Jack, Jack, Christian David Grattan. That's the but inside her, she was always Jax. She was always her transgender name. She was very feminine. She was elegant, even before she transitioned. The transitioned, I never mourned her transitioning. She flew out to Idaho. We went to Monroe's horse riding lesson. She said, "Mom, I did something." And I said, "Great, what did you do?" And she pulled out a bottle of has to take and said, "I'm transitioning. I'm becoming a woman." And great. She explained that to her sister Monroe, who was probably in 5th grade at the time, or maybe even younger, maybe 4th grade. And my daughter Monroe, it was natural for her. She never messed up on her pronouns. And then, of course, Monroe became an advocate for the transgender community, and educated people in Moscow, Idaho.
So, hold up, I'm touching the screen. So, going into the case, let me just read this so you get a bit of an understanding of what Mom was on about before. So, updates: remains identified in suspicious death, and then it's got the date 6/10/2025, and then some sort of code, and then it says on approximately 6 of the 6, 2025, at approximately 5 p.m., Lakewood police were called to the 9600 block of W. Colfax Avenue when someone discovered a deceased body in an alleyway. So that's one discrepancy. Today, the Jefferson County Coroner Office positively identified the deceased as Jacks Grattan of Denver, who had been missing since April 15th, 2025. So there again, like Mum said, using the dead name. Cause of death in this case has not been identified. This case is being treated as a suspicious death. We are working with our partners at Denver Police Department on this case. More information will be released to the public as it becomes available. Now, before I read Mom's corrections, can I just quickly ask, have they put much more out publicly?
No, they haven't put one word out. I asked them to change that press release, and I was told that they would not do it, because of the case was still opened. At this time, the case has been sent to the DA. The person has fled the state. One of the people have fled the state and accumulated charges in another state. $1,000 bails. So they weren't off. They were not good charges if the bail's that much.
Yeah.
And Lakewood allowed that. Lakewood police allowed that. And there is, and this is my opinion, I don't want to be sued, but there's murderers walking amongst us. My daughter did not kill herself. As much as Lakewood would like to believe that she was a drug addict prostitute, that is not the case on a dating site.
So before you continue with that, let's just get this out of the way so I can get it off the screen for you. So let's remember Jacks Grattan. Her body was not found at a hotel, was not found in an alley, not found by a passerby. Her name is Jacks Grattan. She was not roaming the streets. She was not actively using. There was a video. There are bad people in Jax's life, and the Lakewood Police Department are friends with them. So close to use their first name. Why was Jack's laptop / computer wiped from March 22nd, 2025? Knowing Jack's was on dating sites, who's being protected? Why, when I named the second person, was I told no? Why is Jax's murder her fault? Why can I not ask questions? Why are they not utilising Denver Police Department? Why am I being made fun of with eye rolls? Why is my advocate misgendered numerous times? Why is it a hostile environment? why does the chief of police dead name my daughter in the public on film? Why is my relationship with my daughter coming into question? I have always supported my daughter. I will fight for justice for her and her entire communities. I still carry a lot of pride for Jax, her bravery, her kindness, her standing up for what's right. October 6, 2025, Lakewood City Council. Just remember, lying is never okay. Murder is never okay. Life can change in a heartbeat. Please help me fight. Very powerful words. But as you can see, what she's saying is partly backed in this. And if you go to the Facebook group, Mom has been posting many videos in there of everything that they've been doing. Let me just get the group up so we can just scroll through the group now. So Mum's actively sharing other people missing. There's loads in the group where you can get all the information you want when they've got events coming up, like this one here, October 27th, 6 p.m., Allison Parkway. Is that right?
I think it's 460 or 480 Allison Parkway. It's in Lakewood, and it's the city council meeting, and then the police station is right across the street. So we're going to have another march to the police station. And since city council no longer really wants to hear from us, we're going to be loud outside.
So if you're in Colorado and you're in the area and you want to support Mom with the fight for Jax Grattan, please. Where's the meeting point? Did you say it's
Please
at
show
Allison
up.
Parkway?
On Allison Parkway, it's the city government of Lakewood. There's a big, huge building. There's plenty of parking. They do have a parking garage. There will be security. So if there is counter protesters, and I would just invite anyone from any of Jack's communities. It doesn't matter which one. I am hoping for oversight for all of Lakewood Police, not only for Jack's. Jack's case is pretty much done. City Council did not act for Jack's, but I will not stop. This is for mainly marginalized communities, Black, Hispanic, trans, the LGBTQ community, women that have had to be in prostitution. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're actively using, if you used drugs in the past. This oversight committee would keep an eye on the Lakewood Police and would be one of the main things that we went for is for subpoena power, because there's a lot of things that Lakewood has done and said and lied about. And with subpoena power, that would utilize being able to see their records. I was not aware of this until Jax's death. But once they announced Jack's death, I had no idea. Now, my daughter, this is kind of hard. My daughter had been raped. It was not considered a rape because she was transgender. I had transgender women reach out to me that had been raped in Lakewood, Colorado, reported it to the police, and the police did not handle it appropriately. And I don't care who you are, a rape is a rape, and one of the most violent crimes that can take place towards a woman or a man. Not saying that it is gender exclusive. It takes place in all genders. And what needs to be done, if you don't feel safe calling your police department, who do you call? Who takes care of us? the police are supposed to do that. I taught my children to call the police when in trouble. And if you're afraid to call the police or feel that you will be targeted, or allowing your abuser to continue, is not right. And that is that justice for Jax now. That is what we're fighting for oversight for the Lakewood police.
So Brandon Pelt has said, I stand with you. I will keep fighting with you and the local community. Thank you for that, Brandon.
Thank you.
Grandma Sherry's here. Just see if there's any questions or anything, and we'll get these out of the way, and then you can continue. Sorry about this.
Okay. There's somebody from Aurora.
There's a question from Aurora.
It just says Aurora Doodlebugga lighting the way home. I don't know who it is, but hi.
Yeah, this is all the people that are in the chat.
Oh, okay. This is new to me. I had a very good friend who recently passed away, Jessica Olive, that was from England. And that was the one and only podcast that I had ever done. So this is kind of new to me, but I am open to any and all questions.
So if you've got any questions, put them in the chat now. Mom said she's open to questions. If I see any that are disrespectful, I'm not going to ask them questions. So just bear that in mind.
Okay.
Jinx says, we support Jax and you.
Thank you.
We'll give them, because I think they're like a minute or two behind. So
Okay.
let's see if I can find something on Facebook while we're waiting for some questions to come in. Because I know you sent me a video and I wanted to show that. You know the video I'm on about in the town hall?
Oh, in the town, yes, with the police chief.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been quite a movement. I am not an activist. My children are, but I found myself
This one is
being an
this is the one
advocate,
outside
trying
the
to.
town hall.
Oh, this is where they
So this
changed the
is
meeting time. This is Z.I. Williams, and they are my advocate.
So we're gonna get here, we're gonna have a rally, we're gonna march to the police station again. We're gonna be chanting, we're gonna have noisemakers and drums, we're gonna have community. And we are staying to the bitter end. And we are going to have as many people speak as possible. So please, please make sure you mark your calendars and bring every person you know out next Monday to come and be a part of this action. Because we cannot let them run from us. We cannot let them think that they're winning, because they're not.
No.
We will win. We have to remember that these strategies have been tried over and over and over to the trans community. We have to remember that our movement is always being appropriated by people who refuse to give us what we want, and instead will fly the little pride flag, happy to show up at a fundraiser, or say that they care. But we say, show us you care. Show us with your actions, your budget and your calendar are moral documents when you're an elected official. Where are you put your money and your time matter more than what your words say. So we're gonna close this out with one more very, very loud chant for Jax, because they often gather over in the little parking garage, and that's it. That's down below. So we're gonna get real loud. Oh, there you are. Oh, with the cops too. Yeah, they have a cop. We want justice, you say help! We want justice, you say help! Oversight for justice, you say help! If we don't get no justice, you don't get no peace. We don't get no peace. City council is blood on your hands too. See you.
Basically blocked from going in, weren't you? You were saying, or they changed the time, or something along them lines.
Yes, the city council, the week before we were at city council, people stayed till 12:30.
Can everybody hear me in the chat? Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a delay.
Oh, okay. The week before Justice for Jax was there, there was, I would think, over 200 community members, and people had stayed to make public comment. They stayed until 12:30 in the morning. And with people waiting in the hallway to speak for Jax because they were taking care of other city business, they called the meeting and did not let one of those people speak. There was people that drove in from all over Colorado to come to this meeting, stayed extra late to speak to city council and tell their stories and tell why this is so important to Jack's community, especially to transgender women. And they shut them down. And then this meeting was going to be speaking out and being loud. You're going to hear us no matter what. We're not going away. And city council changed the meeting, which they're not supposed to do. They made it an hour earlier, and they were out of the building by the time Jack's community showed up. So we're making strides, but I think they thought we would go away. And I am not going to be gaslit by any city council member. When I found out that Jack's case got sent up to the DA without notifying me, they notified me through an email, which they promised they wouldn't do. They promised that we would have questions and answers. They promised they would call in my advocate. I would be on the phone. My children would be on the phone. So they downright lied. One city council member wrote me, and I included the chief of police, my detectives, all of city council, the mayor, the city manager, and then yesterday I got one more, a gentleman, and which is crazy because in the beginning they all voted 11-0 that they were going to let it go through. So what they have done is they put on a good face, they listened, and then they shut it all down. I don't think they understand the harm that Lakewood Police has done. I've tried by people reading my statements, but my child should not have been should have not been treated that way. She treated people so well in life, and I honestly believe my daughter should have been treated better in death. I've had to argue and argue and argue my point with the Lakewood police, which each time I'm right. They didn't want to take in her computer. They say that there was nothing on a computer after March 22nd. I have proof. She logged into a class that is the same IP number on April 10th. She was taking another class. And I think a lot of people don't understand. My daughter was a successful business owner. And at one point, she was an educator. She worked 10 years for the Denver Fashion Show Week. A lot of her students followed in her footsteps and now work and have sent me videos and do hair and makeup for runway models. Jax modeled in her younger age. She was, excuse me, she was in Vogue doing hair and makeup in Vogue magazine. So she was not a piece of trash. Yes, she might have did drugs in the past. She never shot anything in her arm. They were telling me that people had said that she had was a heroin addict. My daughter never was a heroin addict. That is so untrue. She hated needles. Her surgeries, she had many of them. They would have to orally sedate her before they could even start an IV. Her hormones that she took every single her feminization, having her hormones injected, but she could not shoot a needle in her arm. And I argued and argued, but that was one of the first things the detective said was that it was an overdose. That's not the case. And she did not commit suicide. After she had gone missing, about 2 weeks, a big order showed up from China because she was getting ahead of the tariffs, and she was taking this class to better her business, to promote her business more. So what people say, and to this day, people are calling her this drug addict, dope fiend. I saw her on a FaceTime. One of the roommates had stated that she was smoking meth every day. Well, I'm sorry, if you're smoking meth, your teeth are messed up, your mouth is messed up, you have sores around your mouth. A person that smokes meth every day, you can tell. You physically can tell. All the hairdressers that worked in where she worked, nobody. At one point, she had problems with alcohol, but pot's legal in the state of Colorado. So what about that? They're saying about having methamphetamine in her body. My daughter had a pelvic kidney that was non-functional. She had one kidney that functioned appropriately, and she took Adderall twice a day. She was very, very active in the AA community. That night that she disappeared, she called her sponsor. That a person in active addiction is not going to call their sponsor and say, you know what, I can't be there tonight. I have an eye infection, so I won't be at the meeting tonight. And with everything in my whole body, I wish that she was at that 10 o'clock meeting that night, because that's about what time the first suspect picked her up and took her back to his office. And they weren't apartments. People say that, but he had a business ran out of that building. And the second person had a business running, the second person that came in. I think this was premeditated. I think there's more people. I think there's people from her past that had taken advantage of her that had something to do with it. And, you know, it will all come out. There was people that did not stick up for Jax and did not help her as a young child. And I have all of her journals, which is wonderful because I get to see what she was thinking. Also, my daughter wrote out texts before she sent them. So I have a whole notebook of people that she texted. Because she would write it out on a piece of paper. And I don't know why she did that. And I don't know why she kept the notebooks. Unfortunately, they're not dated. But someday, hopefully, I'll have her phone records and I'll know who she was talking to, what she said. There was relationships. The other thing is my daughter did date. Lakewood police adamantly told me that it was not a hate crime, that there was no hate involved. Well, first of all, a murder is hate. But second of all, I said, how do you know that? And they said, because we have film of them having sex. And I said, well, hold up, because Jax dated plenty of men that were not gay. One instance, he had a 6-month relationship with a gentleman that had a wife and kids. Jax, of course, did not know that until Jax wanted to move it to another level and wanted to move in with each other. And the gentleman who had wined and dined her and sent her flowers said, well, that's not going to happen because I'm not leaving my wife. So that does happen. Trans women are taken advantage of. And all my daughter ever wanted her whole entire life was someone to love her. She loved having a boyfriend. Unfortunately, she was
Well, I've got
terrible.
a few questions that I've popped in the chat,
Okay.
and one of them being Doodlebug says, for people like her that are out of state, how can they help and support you?
Oh, thank you. We have it in our Justice for Jax webpage, but you can write Lakewood City Council. You can call Lakewood City Council and just say, we support Justice for Jax. And it's not Justice for Jax anymore. It's for an oversight committee for the Lakewood police, because they are awful. And I had 7 weeks of dealing with the Denver police. I was never treated this way, and my daughter was never treated as a piece of trash. My daughter was not a piece of trash. She paid taxes. She owned her own business. She cut hair for homeless people. She participated in the Denver Fashion Show Week every year. She was kind. She had all sorts of friends. She was the one that would bring the cupcakes when people would get their chips at AA meetings. She was a baker and became whatever class she take to decorate cakes, which I thought was super funny. And just everybody knows that she was baking cakes and brownies and cookies since she was about 8 years old. And her brothers would eat them right up. But yes, please get a hold of Lakewood City Council. If you can get your friends, as many people as possible. I and after whatever happens with Jax, this is not right. And our political climate in the United States is awful. And I won't even bring up his name, but it has to be these small town governments that say this is enough. And police, I believe, I mean, police are supposed to serve and protect. They take an oath. Jax, before she became a hairdresser, had to do more hours than a Lakewood police officer. I think she had to do 1,200 hours, and I don't have the exact number, but to become a Lakewood police officer, you just have to do 500 hours of whatever teachings they had. And Jax had to do double to cut your hair. Plus, she had many different certifications for makeup, for electrolysis, for extensions. You know, she was always learning and bettering herself. But to be a person that protects and serves, you don't even need that much education. Which is crazy to me. The person that is supposed to be finding out what happened to my daughter knows less than what my daughter knew to
Have they?
cut someone's hair.
Sorry, Aurora asked this earlier, but it's like you saying that. Have they closed the case, or is it an
What's
active
that?
case? The is this case, is it active, or have they cold cased it or closed the
No,
case and
they
said
haven't done anything. They sent it to the DA, the Lakewood DA, or the Jefferson County DA. So I have no idea where it's at. Like I said, they notified me through an email. So we have been emailing back and forth. I've been trying to ask questions. They come back that they're so wonderful and great, which case. So it's in limbo. But I do
yeah?
know that the people that were with her that knew what happened to her are walking the street. And have they done it before? And will they do it again?
So Laurie says addiction doesn't define you. Jack sounded like a sweetheart and very beautiful. I'd just like to point out something. So we have a lot of families that come to us and they're hesitant about coming on and talking about their case because of an addiction that their loved one has gone through. We don't define people if they are missing or they are fighting for justice, as long as they're not child predators, there's no reason they shouldn't be fought for. I myself am an
Exactly.
alcoholic, so I know what the
Exactly.
daily struggles are like for addicts and things like that. So I'm not going to shun away people that have got an addiction because I'd just be a hypocrite to myself.
Yeah. Well, and I always said that. I don't care what trouble Jax has gotten into when she was missing. I don't care. We can't fix dead. And the worst case scenario happened. Jax died, but she did not die at her own hand. She was found with no shoes on. Her glasses were gone. She had no shirt on. She had a coat on. And they say that she wasn't wearing any underwear, but my daughter always wore Spanx. And the three girls in our family have the exact same pants that she left the house in. They're a swimming suit cover up that they're sheer material. And I know for a fact that she would have been wearing a Spank
Yeah.
because she's a transgender woman. And
So this says here, was she classified as a homicide or unalive because of YouTube by the coroner?
undetermined. The
Undetermined.
coroner stated it was undetermined, but she had a broken hyoid. The toxology, they said tested positive for methamphetamine, but she also took Adderall. and her body sat there for 7 weeks. They pretty much figured that she died late night of the 15th or early morning. I don't know if her body was moved there
Yeah.
and if she died someplace else. There's also the decomposition. I have now educated myself on these horrible things, but decomposition isn't sitting right. The police said she was laying on her back. The coroner said on her side. And then the total body position has changed 3 times. And finally, I pinned them down with the coroner's report. And they said, well, terms of interpretation, to me, that's not a very good answer. You're either on your back or your side, period. So I don't understand. And of course, Jefferson County coroner was awful and a lot of trauma, and then held Jack's body. On the 6th, the next day, they did which I thought maybe they'd go in 1 or 2 times. But the autopsy was finished complete on the 8th. And I have an email from Annette Cannon, the head coroner, that said they were done with Jack's body on the 8th. Yet, with me asking, but I didn't start asking until after the 17th for her body, because I was told by independent coroners. My daughter Monroe had raised money for an independent autopsy, and they then held her body until the 1st of July. I don't know why. They've never given me an answer. And then they will not give me the coroner's report. What I have is the autopsy, which actually is Detective Fike, what he reiterated the day before the autopsy came out. But when I asked him if he read the autopsy, he had never read the autopsy. The coroner that wrote the report never about Jack's neck surgery, went to a community member and asked about Jack's throat surgery. And somebody inside of Lakewood, inside the coroner department, leaked that, because then I started getting memes of Jack's with a noose around her neck, with a shotgun underneath her chin, with transgender slurs. And we had set up the Justice for Jack's, and that was a noose around her neck. Somebody sent me that.
So, where was you receiving that? Was that on Facebook? People were sending you that?
Through personal messages. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And unfortunately, people say, why did you open them? Well, I spent 7 weeks looking for tips on where my daughter was. I talked to the most disgusting, horrible people in the world, and I would carry on conversations with them and try to get a phone number and try to get something to give to the Denver police. So it's not strange that I opened something up, because even though we're not friends, because I spent 7 weeks, 24 hours a day going through these tips. Just because I honestly believed if I didn't, what if I missed one? What if I missed that she was in this certain drug house and we were 10 minutes too late? So I opened them all up, and I did have conversations with perverts and disgusting pigs. The night before she was found, I spent an hour and a half with a gentleman who said that he had been with her, so on and so forth. I was trying to get an address. I was He told me drugs. He told me sexual positions. He told me what she liked, all these horrible things about my daughter. But I had to do it because I thought this might be the
You might have
one.
some information.
And all I wanted to do was find her alive. And I didn't, if she chose to run away, that would have been okay. But I just wanted her to be alive because she
Yeah.
always picked herself up. She, in bad relationships, whatever happened, she always, one day it was horrible, horrible. And the next day she'd have a new plan. At one point, she called me and she wanted to leave Colorado and said, you know what? And it was after my mother died, who was a nurse, and said, I think I'm going to become a nurse. But Jax didn't like blood. The other thing of them saying that she jumped out of the window, if you see the window, her shoulders were broad. Her body was long. She wouldn't have made it through that window. And one thing about my daughter, she was afraid of the dark. Absolutely no way, even if she was drug induced, would have jumped out of a window into darkness. That's just not her. So there you go.
Well, moving forward, you've got your event coming up on the 27th. Is there anything planned after that, or is it you're playing it by ear for now?
Well, I will not stop. That's the 27th. I know I have to quit asking people. I am in the state of Montana. I can't leave. I'm a 24-hour caretaker of someone that needs me. I am sick. I can't leave to do the fight, so I call them Jack's Warriors or Jack's Angels, because I can't be there physically. So we go from here. We sit down, we fight the police. We legal action. Legal action. I want to hopefully let the Attorney General know of what the Lakewood Police Department has done and is doing to Jack's transgender community. I want people's voice to be heard in the state of Colorado, and mostly in Lakewood, be represented. And Lakewood Police needs to have education, outside of education, not knowing that a transgender person can have sex with a cis man or woman. They figured it was just gay sex. Well, that's moronic. The other thing is they in the gay community that I found out about, I had no idea, that hate transgender women. It's gay men that have sex with transgender women and beat them and choke them and kill them because they call transgender women groomers, which is not the case. It's horrific. But there's so many, they're kind of along the lines of like gay white supremacists that white, well, you can only be gay. Once you cross that line into, Jax was always a woman. Jax was always effeminate. It wasn't this big, huge thing that I had to mourn my daughter changing or transgendering. Jax was born just like Lady Gaga was born. Jax was born that way. Jax was born to be a woman. So anyway, to go forward, all I'm asking is we'll see how it goes on the 27th, see if there's any conversation with Lakewood City Council. And like I said, I need to pursue to a higher level. I think what Lakewood did to my warriors on, I think it was on the 13th, when there was people there ready to speak, and some of these members are their constituents. They're the ones that they have to count on to vote for them, are standing outside waiting to speak, being polite. The community fed people. They brought pizza. Not only Jack's people were eating pizza, people that had come to talk about the new zoning ate pizza.
Yeah.
But
Well,
once again, being treated like non-human. And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. There's another case. I have talked to her mother that was shot by a police officer, Jalen, and she is joining our cause. So it's justice for Jalen too. It's for any, and this was a Black young man who was shot, and no charges, absolutely no charges. He was protecting police. You know, what are we doing? Figure it out, take a class, realize that there are good people, and just know that when you walk into a terrible situation, this is a terrible, treat people with respect. Don't dead name them. Don't break the law. Period. Period. And why is transgender women rape not rape? Why are they not directed and given a rape kit at the hospital? And why do you not follow up on it? Why do you not call them back? Why do you not give them counseling? A female, a cis woman like myself, I've never been raped. I've never felt that horror or that pain. But I would expect that the police would come, I would report it, and they would take care of me, and they would help me, and they would make sure that I was okay. And how come just because your gender is not what you were born with, do you get to be disrespected? So I hope I
well,
made sense there.
I just wanted to point out as well. I had a little look through Jax's profile on Facebook, just to get like a bit of a feel for the type of person that she was, and she was very passionate about her hairdressing. There's videos on there of she just coloured some people's hair, and she's telling them how to do how to pose with the hair and that. And she's definitely got a sense of humour. Because I mean,
Yes,
in one of the
it is.
pictures, I bet people were thinking, "Why has he got a picture of Bernie Sanders?" But I grabbed
Yeah.
it to show her humour, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
And
she definitely
incredible.
seemed happy to me, happy within herself. And she was sharing as well her journey that she was going through. I was talking to you about this before, about like the surgeries that she went through. I mean, them surgeries alone should have been her battle. Do you know what I mean? Having to
Yeah.
recover from them and things like that. But she was not only having to recover that, the same people now sending mom these horrible, abusive things were clearly like getting, because they get kicks out of it. I don't know how people can come online and get a kick out of taunting members of families of a case, whether it's a missing person or whether it's a murder victim. People seem to get kicks out of it. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to judge another human being because they have no idea the struggles that Jax went through. They have no idea that she was incredibly successful for what she had been through and what she had faced. And her kindness was absolutely immeasurable. And she kept friends from grade school. This woman had friends that reached out from me from Las Vegas that she went to elementary school, Moscow, Idaho Middle School, that Jax had kept in contact, who had visited her in Denver. Or, you know, I don't have people like, I have one person that I've stayed friends with. I don't have 20. So she was a light and she spread light, and she did not, her sense of humor was unbelievable, but she didn't hold grudges. People wronged her and she forgave them, which I am not like that. I don't know where she got that from, but she did. And she helped people. You know, she would give you everything that she had. A lot of times when she colored your hair, did your hair, did a new hairstyle, she sent you away with product. So I, you know, that's wonderful. It looks like this is an hour because I've got to get back to work.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything you'd like to say to everyone before you have to shoot?
I want to thank you for reaching out and having a platform for my transgender daughter that I'm so very proud of. And just mention all the warriors in this world, and we can make a difference. Everything looks awfully dark and horrible, but one person can make a difference. And that was Jack's belief. Jax felt that one person, and she was an incredible person. If anybody has questions or has heard anything, I am an open book. I am just here to make the world a better place, like my daughter. That's the only
Yeah.
that's the only thing I have left of her, is to try to be more like her,
Well,
which I never
before
was.
you go, oh, sorry. Go on.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's it.
Okay, so before you go, I just want to let you know if your case has any more updates, or you have another event coming up and you want to come on and see if you can rally some people together for it, you're more than welcome to come on. If you want to come on again, say you feel that you've missed something in this live and you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to come on again. In fact, I was thinking, saying about a month's time, just for awareness sake, maybe you could come on again and we can talk about the case again for maybe new subscribers, or maybe we can hit a new audience.
Well, that would be wonderful. And yes, thank you. And if you don't live in Denver, write Lakewood city government, and tell them that this is a problem. There needs to be an oversight committee for the police. It needs to be, police don't, just because they went to 556 hours of schooling, they don't know it all. They need to be educated and they need to protect and serve. They took an oath. They get a paycheck. It's just like the person working in 7-Eleven. If you walk in there and your Slurpee machine isn't working, you're upset. Well, I'm upset that these people signed up for a job and don't know how to do it. Period. So thank you all, and thank
Also,
you for being
before
here.
just before you go, let
Okay.
Jaxie Warriors know that everyone on this channel supports what they're doing and to keep doing it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Because
Yes.
the fact that you can't even get there, and that they're there doing it for you, it just makes it that bit more special. Do you know what I mean?
It really does. And artwork, if you find a need to do artwork, there's a gallery that wants to feature Jax, because we've had so many artists step up. One of Jack's best friends from middle school, Elena, did a lot of the artwork, and they're going to feature her work. And God, everybody stay safe, stay off the dating sites. These people, it's predatory. And just keep yourself safe. Walk in groups. If you are a transgender person, do not go anywhere by yourself, especially at this political climate in the United States. It's horrible. I don't want to lose another person. Another person should not die this way. And I don't care. Nobody should die this way.
No.
So, period. Okay, I'm going to go back to work. Thank you for being
Okay,
here.
thank you.
And
Thank you for taking the time.
having
Thank
me.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, everyone. So, because of what's that? Okay, PJ for streaming this onto her channel to help spread awareness further. Thank you to everybody who's come along, subscribed, hit the like, and the newcomers. Please check out our other channel, not our other channel, sorry, Jinx, get that off the screen. Please check out our other videos where we've advocated for other families and things like that. And keep an eye on the channel because we have got a lot of activity with families, I believe, going into mid next week. It could be more than that as well because I've just had a few families reach out as well, literally before I hit live. So please, if you are new, stick around and see the cases that we cover. Again, thank you to PJ. Also, I am now going over to Justice Serves Daily. She's just hit live, so I'll be going over to there. Here's a link for everybody if you'd like to come and join us. Thank you all for coming. Justice for Jax.